Welcome back to another episode of Tailgate with the Tullys. I'm CJ.
I'm Ryan.
Also, welcome a new audience as a lot of people have started to get in touch with the channel since our last post. So, thank you to everybody who's been a part of that. We also had a lot of content from the Super Bowl run for the Eagles. So, check that out definitely on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Yeah, Ryan, let's talk some MLB free agency. We are back in baseball.
Yeah, baseball starts up in a couple months. You got spring training in a month. So it's very exciting always to come back to baseball season, especially when the Birds just won the Super Bowl. So there's nothing to complain about there. It's just all looking forward to the Phillies. And I'm looking forward to it, CJ.
So as we saw, a lot of moves were made. We are going to put out videos in the future breaking down each division and the moves they made, the additions to each team. But we just wanted to hit some key points that we thought the big winners, losers, and just everything in between. So Ryan, give us your biggest winners here.
I think one of the biggest winners of this offseason was the Chicago Cubs. While they did lose Cody Bellinger to the Yankees, they brought in a few guys who I think could really make a difference on this team. The first move that I loved was Kyle Tucker. I think bringing in a left-handed power bat to fill that hole of Cody Bellinger, a guy who's been playing a lot better. Kyle Tucker, when healthy, is one of the best hitters in baseball. His swing is absolutely beautiful. It's one of those things where I just love seeing him bat. He was an Astro, and I hated him, but he was doing great. I did have to get his World Series jersey after they won against us. They also brought in Justin Turner, as you saw. Actually, news was broken to me by our account, so that was funny. But
Oh,
Justin Tucker to play a little bit of second base and third base, so I like that acquisition as well. A veteran guy who can maybe work with some of these younger players. They brought in three pitchers that I like. They got Ryan Presley, also from the Astros. Ryan Presley, a lockdown closer who's maybe leaving his prime a little bit, but he's still excellent. You have Matthew Boyd, who had a great year last year for the Guardians, a playoff team. Uh, Thebar and Colin Ray. Colin Ray, who isn't like going to be a stud pitcher. He had a 4 ERA last year, but I think in a Cubs rotation where he's not going to have to be a top three guy, you can still work with that. They also have Shota Imanaga still going to be there. Looking forward to his second year there. So to pair up some of these guys who maybe aren't going to be great by themselves but can work in a rotation together. And then a move I really like was Vidal Brujan, a young player from the Tampa Bay Rays who, again, working with Justin Turner in the infield, can learn something from him and be a star player. I think Vidal Brujan was brought into this organization to then come up and be that player. I know he didn't turn out well for the Rays, but I think he can be that in the future.
yeah, definitely interesting moves and some key losses there for the Cubs, but you do look for them to bounce back. My biggest winner of the post or the offseason has to be the Boston Red Sox. I've loved pretty much every move they've made. I mean, you bring in star pitcher who I know our Phillies were in on, Garrett Crochet. That's a huge move. You bring in Alex Bregman of late and third base. Well, we think third base. We don't know what the tension there is going to be. I don't think it's anything. Like, I think it's kind of being over dramatized. I think
Yeah.
we'll be fine, but I love the move of Bregman. I love Walker Bueller coming in, kind of a resurgence maybe for him in his career as kind of fell off last year, wasn't his best. Yeah, Patrick Sandoval, another player who could have a little bit of a resurgence after coming off some bad teams. Then you have Aroldis Chapman, who he's not somebody anyone's going to think much of anymore, but to have that power, that just veteran mentality in the bullpen is great. Pair all of that up with Jared Duran, who my favorite player coming out this year. I think he's going to be amazing. Rafael Devers, again, you just have to get those tensions straightened out. And you already had a great starting pitching rotation last year. So you pair all these things together, and I see the Red Sox having a huge move this year.
And no, I think the move with Crochet, Walker Bueller, and Patrick Sandoval is a good three-man rotation to add to a team that already had good pitching.
Yeah.
Another team I think had a really good offseason was the Diamondbacks. I think getting Corbin Burns, obviously he didn't pan out very well with the Orioles last year. He kind of struggled towards the end of the season. You lost Christian Walker to the Astros, but you bring in Josh Naylor, which is a huge move for the Diamondbacks. I think Josh Naylor's maybe not defensively as good as Christian Walker, but I think in that starting first baseman position, Josh Naylor had a great year last year. You also brought in Randall Grichuk and Kendall Graveman. Kendall Graveman, who had an excellent season last year, and I think he's a guy that has been known to be a lockdown pitcher, and I think that will continue to succeed. Um, and then my biggest loser, I just want to throw this out here as well, is the Cardinals. They made no moves. They
Yep.
got and lost nothing. So I think that would be pretty much of a loser. They had
Yeah.
zero acquisitions.
All right. Well, I'm going to stick with the AL Beast over here because the East is rocking this year. I won't talk too much about the Blue Jays, but I mean, adding Anthony Santander, Max Scherzer, they've added a few pieces that, I mean, Vlad's not coming back, so I don't know the future of the Blue Jays, but they made a few moves, so I'll give credit where it's due. But then you look at the Yankees, Max Fried, dog, he's gonna be huge in that rotation. Devin Williams out of the bullpen, that's
Dog,
going to be a huge help. You have Cody Bellinger, you had mentioned left the Cubs, a great
dog.
left-handed bat. Paul Goldschmidt, you add. I mean, Tyler Maztek, there's just big names everywhere, and a team that was already in the World Series last year. You pair all that with Jazz Chisholm, who's still there, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton. You did lose Gleyber Torres, which could hurt you, but I think you just slide one of these other guys in there. You're going to bring up Dominguez this year. I just see so much potential for this team. Austin Wells even played great last year. So I'm not sure how they're going to structure this lineup whatsoever because you can kind of mix match any of these players. I'd like to see Jazz up in the top and then kind of work your power down. I know Judge was starting off last year, but I think this Yankees team is scary now, and I think adding the bullpen help and the starting rotation help and Fried is huge.
Yeah, I think they kind of recovered from that Soto loss. I think losing Soto was like a big deal.
Mhm.
You also lost Nestor Cortez, and you filled that hole immediately as well. So I think the way that they restructured their offseason was fill the gaps you lost, and they kind of got better in that aspect. Like you're
Yeah.
not going to be able to replace Juan Soto, but
Rizzo and Verdugo are gone as well, but you
yes,
add Goldschmidt and
Bellinger.
Bellinger, so
Yeah,
that's huge.
and yeah, like I said, you lost Nestor, you fill in it with Max Fried. So I think that whole aspect really was a good move there for the Yankees.
Yeah, I think overall it's been a great offseason. I think a lot of key players have moved. I know some other people I've enjoyed seeing move to a new team. I don't know if you had any.
Yeah, so one I really liked, I think the Astros they lost Bregman. I think a good move there was getting Isaac Paredes. I think that was a good kind of like obviously Paredes isn't the same player as Bregman, but getting a younger guy to slide into that spot, maybe develop to be better. And I really liked I was bad. I was very mad he didn't come to the Phillies. Roki Sasaki, I've absolutely love watching these Japanese players in the MLB. Like there's so much talent coming from Japan. It's so awesome to see. I was really hoping that the Phillies would be able to get one of these talents and then kind of draw in more. Obviously, the Dodgers have that with Otani and Yamamoto, so it was kind of like a lock for him to go there. But I think if the Roki Sasaki can kind of put on that same thing that's been coming out of Japan, like it's going to be the Dodgers are going to be so scary.
Yeah, three other moves I've absolutely loved. Tyler O'Neill to the Orioles. If they can stay healthy or he can stay healthy, that's a huge piece and a short porch they have over there. Someone else I really liked was Jerickson Profar going over to the Braves. I think a team that's already put together. You add that one more key piece. I think that makes all the difference. And for the Astros, Christian Walker. Christian Walker now coming into that lineup. He had a huge season last year, and I'm really excited to see what he can do for the Astros this year.
Yeah. Another thing I want to point out that I like the Mets being able to re-sign Winker and Pete Alonso and like kind of keep some key pieces that were very good in that playoff run last year, along with signing Soto. They also brought in Clay Holmes, AJ Minter, and Jose Siri. Like these guys that are coming in, the booster with the guys who are already on that playoff run. That's kind of a little scary as a Phillies fan. I just always say the Mets are going to Met,
They're gonna
and
Met.
the Mets are going to Met.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys. Watching another episode of Tailgate with the Tullys. I'm CJ,
I'm Ryan.
and we have much more to come with this baseball season. Looking forward to sharing it all with you guys.